Namaste everyone, this is Avanti, and today we are going to be talking about board exams. There's been a lot of debate whether they should be online or offline or cancelled or postponed, and there's a lot of videos on there telling you the pros and cons of each. I think it's a better use of our time for today to give you some practical tips on how to ace them when they do happen for you, regardless of the format. But before that, I know a lot of you have been feeling a lot of pressure from parents, relatives, Sharmaji or Parosi. A lot of people will tell you that board exams define your life. They are the most life-defining moment. And that frankly is not true. Yes, they are important. They are an important part of your life because for a lot of people, 10th marks determine where you get in for junior college, 12th marks determine where you get in for college. But at the end of the day, a grade does not determine your self-worth. And I want you to remember that regardless. You will do so much better on these exams if you feel self-motivated because you want to do well or you want to show that you've learned the subject, rather than giving in to the external pressures on you. It's hard, but try and tune out that noise and you focus on you and doing your best. So I took my board exams now many years ago. I graduated ICSE in 2013 and ISC in 2015, though thoda dated hai, but the principles are the same. And if you're curious, I don't remember the exact percentage, but I scored like 97 point something in both exams, if that is a useful marker for why should I listen to her advice. Let's talk about how to study for the board exams. This advice will be useful whether you are taking them right now, or next year, or you are in the 7th standard and freaking out about them. Just remember these 4 principles. The first is consistency. You might be wondering, school में इतने exams क्यों हैं? Why are there pre-boards and internals and unit tests? The reason is it's an easy way for the school to make sure that you are consistently keeping up with the material, because they will always test. First exam will be everything, second exam will be first exam plus second exam. Regardless of what your school does, it's important that you are consistent with the material. Try being consistent with the time you have right now. And the way you can do that is by the second principle, being organized. पढ़ाई का मतलब नहीं है that you just sit and stare at a book the whole day. पढ़ाई का मतलब है you actually are learning and you are processing that information, and a lot of that is in how you organize it. Just try and organize it based on what you're good at, what you're not good at. And this takes a little bit of planning, but trust me, it makes a huge difference. Some of you might take tuitions, और tuition में वो ही करते हैं कि जब आप English tuition के लिए जाते हो, you do English stuff, math tuition के लिए you do math stuff. But make sure you in your mind are also organized with it. That brings me to the third principle, which is the method. A lot of people will say use this method, that method, whatever. Find what works for you. For me, for example, I'm a visual learner, so I need to write stuff down to be able to remember it. So when I studied for exams, I would always make notes. When I make videos, I always storyboard and make notes before doing it. But some people aren't like that. For some people, they learn better when they move. For some people, listening is better. So you need to find what works for you, and you need to find what methods work for you. And the fourth really important principle is practice questions. A lot of these exams, especially board exams, they are more a test of how well you can take the exam and the specific format. So if you just study the material, that's fine. लेकिन अगर आप practice questions नहीं करते, if you don't solve previous exam papers, question papers, not just your board's previous exam papers, but schools. If you have friends who are in, say you're in ICSE, if you have friends who are in other ICSE schools, find out what their papers were for the past few years. There's some bookshops that also sell, previous year's papers of XYZ schools, because those school questions are often harder than the board questions. So as many questions as you can to get that question bank, do get that, because that's really, really important, because a lot of it is in the format of the question. And make sure that your environment is conducive to you studying. सब लोगों के लिए possible नहीं है. People live in various different situations. You might share a room with multiple people. But wherever you are preparing for the exam, or wherever you're going to take the exam, try as best as you can to keep that space clear. Or to have at least a separation between your lying down position when you sleep and your sitting up position when you study, if the only place you can study is your bed. Ideally, don't study on your bed, but if you have to, just figure out a way to make it feel different, because it'll put you in a different mindset, and mindset really matters. So let's talk about actually writing the exam. There's so many small things that we forget because we're so stressed about everything else. So let's cover some of the things that we should think about. First, आपका center कहाँ है? Now, of course, you might be doing it at home. In the case of online, in that case, where is the space you'll be sitting? Can you make sure that it's distraction-free? Whoever it is in your home is not coming in and out during the time you're writing the exam, setting that up for you. If you're doing it offline, where is your center? Find it on Google Maps if you've never been there before. Second, try getting there early, because the last thing you want is to be stressed about where is the bathroom and then trying to find the bathroom in the middle of the exam. You want to feel comfortable in your environment. So find the center and make sure that you get there early, especially on the first day. Strategies for writing your exam. The next thing when writing your exam, even if you're doing it online, you will be writing it on paper. And that's why it sounds ridiculous, but your handwriting really matters. In fact, the cleaner your handwriting is, the easier it is to read, and the bigger it is, the better. Because your exam paper will be corrected by someone you likely don't know, an invigilator or whoever. They may not be used to your paper, and so the easier it is for them to read, the better it is. In general, you should not use a red pen or a green pen, but it's usually black or blue ballpoint pen. Just check for your specific board what they want. If I'm being super honest with you, your invigilator does not have the time to read every single word of your exam. So, what is easiest for you to do is to signpost things to make it so much easier for them and for you to score better. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a bio question, which is, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Explain. Start off by saying, the mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell, as the respiratory center, or whatever you want to say, because, colon, point 1, point 2, point 3, whatever it is. Write it in bullet points. Avoid writing big paragraphs unless you're, say, writing an essay, but everywhere else, as much as you can, try using bullet points or something that's really easy to read. Another tip is you can underline keywords that you know if they see the keyword, they'll just give you a mark. Or you can put boxes around it. Just make sure it looks neat and clean. You know, the same way agar aap type kar rahe ho, you can kind of have a bold function, italics. You can't really write in italics, so just make sure that you underline and you do boxes. The stupidest place you can lose marks is forgetting to label things. Please, 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 please do not forget to label things. Sach mein, it's like the stupidest thing. Marks aise fukad mein nikal rahe hain aapke haath se. So please, what do I mean? Label your graphs, the axes, and put the question number right on the paper. Label your maps if you're doing geography. Put the question number on the paper. Math mein, draw the margins so you can actually show where you've done the calculations. Do it on the right side, because left side pe jab aap paper saath mein rakhte ho, it's kind of hard for them to see. So please do that. And in general, make sure you label the questions everywhere. If it's question 2 and 2 has 2A, 1, 2, 3, please write question 2A, 1, question 2A, 2. It'll just make your life easier and the invigilator's life easier. Don't expect them to go back and forth, because galti se if your papers get mixed up, it might say question 2, but it's number 3 of question 4. So just to make your life easier, label every question as it is very specifically. You don't have to solve the paper in sequence, samne se khatam tak. You should approach it by what you know best, so you feel really confident going in. The first 5 minutes when you get the paper, do not rush to start solving the first question. Relax, look at it for 5 minutes, and go through the paper. See other questions you know. Sometimes you have to choose options from the questions. You can choose those options in that moment. Breathe. Look at it and see, what do I know best? What will be easiest for me to start with? Because the more you get into the groove, just even psychologically, the more comfortable and confident you will feel. So definitely start with what you know best first. And label the questions. I'm going to say that 10 more times. For open-ended questions, let's say in English when you're writing the essay, or maybe in a social science or in Hindi, I would suggest during those first 5-7 minutes, if you have the mind space, you can create an outline for the essay. Or if you want to approach it later on after you've finished a huge chunk of the paper, regardless, create that outline so you're not just mindlessly writing. And this is for any of these big questions. If you create a quick outline on your question paper, you will feel so much more ready and you can always reference. Give the number of points based on the marks. For example, if it is a 4-mark question, try giving 8 points and make sure your first 4 are the best. The last 4 can be thoda sa jugaad, especially your 7th and 8th, but especially if your first 4 are great, you will do well. Honestly, a lot of invigilators sometimes will just see the number of points and give you marks based on that, but there should be some substance behind it as well. So especially for comparisons, differentiate between whatever. Draw the table neatly with a pencil, do that, and let's say it's 4 marks, try giving 8 points, or in this case, because it's 4, differences, you can do at least 4, but thoda sa extra karne mein time zyada nahi jata hai and you are more likely to score, so take it from me. A lot of people forget to revise, but please revise your paper if you can. It makes a world of a difference, especially in your board exams. You labeled each and every question, second check, have you answered each and every question? A really easy way to make sure that you have is maybe tick the questions on the question paper as you're doing them so you don't forget. And then third, check for any things you are unsure of in the general way you revise it. Don't just stare blankly at your paper. Revision is actually, am I putting my best work forward? हमने board exam के बारे में बात किया है, but let's talk about you and your relation to the board exam. A lot of people think pulling an all-nighter means that I studied really hard. Maybe it does, but sleep is so important. There's so much research that shows that if you sleep well the night before an exam, you actually encode the information better and you perform better. So please do not give up on your sleep. Try and get a good night's sleep before every one of your exams. It will help you, I promise. When it comes to water, food, make sure during your exams you're eating food that you like and agrees with your system. The last thing you want to be dealing with is food poisoning or, gala kharab. Just eat nice, simple food that you're used to, your system is used to, and you'll be fine. You might be wondering, or maybe your parents have said, beta, beti, exams aa rahe hain, boards hain, no phone, nothing. I don't think it's bad to do it, just obviously don't procrastinate while doing it. And we've become so used to using our phones, using Discord, using whatever it might be. You'll feel those withdrawal symptoms. So rather than that, you should know yourself and know, is it going to be a relaxer, a distractor? Should I use it at a certain time? Will it help if my parents keep it? Or do I have enough self-control to manage it? So just know yourself and do it accordingly. And lastly, please check in on your mental health during your boards and even when you're preparing for them. There's so much pressure externally, internally probably you feel, and it's a lot of stress. So if you need a space to talk and vent, there are resources. One that I keep sharing and it's helped a lot of people in our community actually is 7 Cups, where they have anonymous online listeners. You can check them out. So there's apps like Headspace, Calm, that can just make you calm and relaxed. Maybe some of you like to meditate. Whatever it is, just find that practice that centers you, grounds you. You like to light a diya before the exam. Maybe you like to do whatever it is. Just find that practice because it really, 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 I promise you, will make a difference. So yeah, that's the situation on board exams. Best of luck if you are taking the exam this year. Best of luck if you're taking it next year, and congratulations if you're through with them. But either way, please know that it's not the be-all and end-all of the world, and you are so much more as a human being beyond just your marks. They matter, but not that much, I promise. Please don't forget to like this video. I know it's like, like, share, comment, subscribe, but sachi mein, if you liked what you saw and you want more videos like this, especially educational, if you want anything on exams, methods, whatever it is, please comment below, and please don't forget to like the video, give it a big thumbs up because it really helps it be discovered by more people. And send you all lots and lots of love, best of luck, and we're here for you. Bye!